Okay, good morning. It is November 26, 2021, and I figured I'd make this video early since the market closed early today. Clearly, the bias was down today. We had a mostly down day. In the overnight, we had this big sell-off, and then from 5 a.m. till a little bit after the open, we trended up, and then prices quickly reversed, and we had this downward channel right here, and we had a break, move to a new low, to actually two legs to a new low, and that's what we had for today. I think if you followed the rules today, you should have made some money. Not too many. Even if you got trapped on something, there were a lot of runners in here, so we'll take a look at these trades I marked. Oh, and before I zoom in, you can see that there's pretty clearly a gap from yesterday's lows, and we never tested that. So it wouldn't be surprising if we rallied back up to 46.56 in the next week. So keep an eye on that. But anyway, let's take a look at these trades that I marked. So we started trending up at 12:23 in the morning, and trend line really got confirmed right here a few hours later. But then there was like a secondary level of support up here, and by that point we had formed this range. So what time is this? This is a little after 5 o'clock. We get this triple top. Let me zoom in. And so it was pretty clear that prices were ranging. It wasn't clear where the level of support was, but it was clear where the level of resistance was, and unfortunately we didn't get a great setup in here. But I think when you get this first entry, second entry, that's a quadruple top, if you will. And it's a second entry, and with the bearish bar like this, I don't see why not try and go short. I mean, the problem is these signal bars were just so big that you're risking so much. And because of that, I wasn't trying to go for a scalp. Because if you lose on, and your target is just 1 point, you're taking on so much risk. So this is what, 426? So almost a 6-point signal bar. That's tough. So I think you can go short here. But if you don't want to do that, we bounce right here, and this looks like it might be a level of support when we get a bounce here, and when you get a higher low, you might consider going long here. I didn't mark that. You might consider going long there, but you're going into the midline. It's a little risky. But if you don't go for that, there's a first failed second entry. And since we broke higher and we were trending higher for several hours at that point, you could consider going long here. And if you don't go long here, I think you can definitely go long on that second entry short. Just about, I thought this was after 6:30, 6:28. I think the volume really picked up here though, because prices really started moving quick, and this gets you, well, this gets you a scalp very quickly. And if you tried to swing that, you got a nice move out of that. Because I took this, and I think on my practice account, and I just aimed for the top of the trend line, and that's exactly where it went. And we got an overshoot, slight overshoot, but that led to a break. And you could have first failed second entry, but this looks, your signal bar looks too bullish, and it closes above the EMA, so I didn't like that. But when you get this lower high, and you know, we've been down all night, and this was not a strong uptrend. This really just looks like correction. So this wasn't very convincing that we were going higher. So you might take this lower high. Everything else is too far from the EMA in here. And then we get the break and some correction here. But I'm still looking to go short. At this point, we make this new low. You get a first entry, second entry short. That's good enough for a scalp. And if you didn't like that, you get a lower high right here. And that's probably the smallest signal bar yet that morning. So, yeah, it was 2 points. Everything else was way bigger than that. So yeah, I mean, I like that too. Even though it looks like we're kind of going up, I like that. The bias is clearly down. And it looks like it's at the top of congestion. You might have it like that. You might have it like that. But even still, there's room to scalp out there. Bounce here. Make some highs. At this point, I'm just feeling like we got to see what's happening. I don't like any of this. And then you get a first entry, failed second entry long right here. I marked this as aggressive because you can see there's some congestion right here with all these bars stacked up, but I'm liking that. For the how strong the bias is and it bounces off the EMA, I like that. And okay, so here I wanted to talk about this. So we get a second entry short with a great signal bar, but it traps people out. And why does it trap people out? Is what I'm trying to figure out. Well, we go above the EMA here. I mean, you could look at this as a giant range, really. And you could also look at this as we're still in this range. And maybe that's what it is you're going short into those lows. So I think that's probably it. This is clearly a level of support right here. And this looks like a breakout pullback, where this one doesn't look as much like a breakout pullback. It looks like we broke back in and the breakout failed. So that's all I really can say about that. Look at all these dojis that are at that price level. What else? How about this? This looks like a leg down, break, move to a new low, and one leg of correction. That's actually what I saw earlier when I was looking at it. This looks like one leg of correction, and maybe this is the second leg right here, but unfortunately you can't get in on this move down. So just, I think one of those moves that you just got to be careful. So anyway, moving on, we come down. I don't think you would be able to find this the bottom of this channel yet, even at this bounce. But a little later, you can see that this is a midline. I'll delete some of these lines because the chart's looking a little crowded right now. Okay, so we hit the bottom of this channel and we start trending higher. You can see here. At this point, though, I don't feel comfortable going long just because we're not getting really good setups, and this bias is just really strong down. And then here it starts to look like we're just ranging when we break below here and bounce back up. I like this entry personally. You get a break of this channel. First entry, very strong. First entry, breaks lower. Second entry, we haven't had a move to a new high yet. So I like that. We get the new high and we reverse. And okay, I got trapped on one of my practice accounts here. So let's take a look. Let me delete this. So we come down right here. It's hard to see, but you get one tick higher. And so I looked at that as first entry, failed second entry long right here. I think the problem with that is that this is just one tick. So this really looks like one leg down. And I think that's why I got trapped here. And when it looks like one leg down, you should probably just wait for the second entry short. And that would have paid off here if you did that. Because this traps you out, and then you get a second entry short, and you get like, I don't know, like 6 quick points or something. And it's a higher low, 10.25. So you get a quick 4 points on that move. So I like that trade. Trend down, you see we get a break right here. Pretty convincing break, but sellers just come right back in, push it down. You get another break. I don't like either of these entries, but it looks like after the fact, looks like this is a bit of a spike in channel maybe. I don't see anything here. First entry. You know, this is actually a failed second entry long right here. And that's where I had my range drawn. So we make a new high right here. First entry, second entry, fails right here. So I think I'm going to mark that red. And that gets you a nice move. On a day like today, I think you can mark that red. That's another thing you guys got to keep in mind is this is the context. The bias was so strong down. Some of these trades you won't take on a choppy day or a range day. Anyway, we make a new low. You get a first entry, second entry, signal bars, no good. But then you get a first entry, failed second entry long. And this is aggressive because look how far away we are from the EMA. But that's another move right there that I think it gets you like 20 points or something. Something crazy. Oh, no, not this one. This one doesn't get you 20 points, 92. Gets you like 6 points. And then here, we hit this measured move that I had from earlier in the day. We make this leg down, and then from this high, boom, here. So we hit that measured move on that last trade I just marked. So that's when you want to keep an eye out. So here you get a first entry, second entry short, but that's above the EMA. I don't think that's off any trend line. I don't like that personally. We haven't made it to the bottom of this channel, the larger channel. So if you don't like that, you could take this as a failed second entry long. That gets you something because it does look like we're making higher lows and higher highs temporarily. And this is actually a new low. So you get a first failed second entry long right here. I like it just because it's such a low, small signal bar. And we haven't gotten many of those today. Let's see. 94.50. That's less than two points. I don't think we had a single one like that on this day. So we formed this range near the highs of the channel. We broke up into that, so when you get this move down, that's technically a counter trend break, and you make a lower high, or a higher low, excuse me, right here as you can see. And this is actually first, second entry long, but I don't think I would take that just because of the day's bias. This is technically a failure. You might take that as a failed breakout, but doesn't set up well. But when you get this first, second entry, I'll mark that as aggressive because it is off this trend line. That would confirm the trend line, and it's a second entry, and we're expecting prices to at least potentially come back to this price level. So, oh, I like that too. I like that a lot actually. It's higher low, back into congestion. You get a nice move out of that. And then we get some consolidation right here. First entry, second entry, no signal bar, just congestion above the range. And then we get a bounce off the trend line, no signal bar. But when we get this higher low, I really like that personally. It's a higher low off the trend line. It's like a breakout pullback as well. And you get a nice move out of that. Ride that to the top of the channel maybe. So we get this overshoot, and with the bias today, I'm not expecting, and also it's an overshoot, but it's also hitting this important price level from here. And I'm not expecting prices to test the opening price, but that's where they might go. But once it started moving down quickly, I really like this lower high, to be honest. Look how bearish that is. But when you get this failure, you got to take that. And I think this gets you like 24 points if you play it correctly. If you just play it to one tick above each bar, 8, you get like 7 points. But if you give it your runner some space, you can ride that all the way down. That's a 24 point move. Unfortunately, I think I took mine at the 7 point mark or something. Took that on my practice account. And this stuff is just very choppy, and I didn't realize market closed at like 10, so I probably shouldn't mark this, but that's what we're looking at here. So those are the trades I marked today. A lot of good volatility. Let's take a look at the trades I took. I didn't realize I had a good trade here. I think, okay, so I entered on this higher low. I looked at it as a double top here, first entry, second entry. Oh, here's the thing though, is I moved my stop. That's the only reason. Okay, because I wasn't sure of this, like, this is far from the lows, and I wasn't sure if we were going to go down and test those lows again, so it's just never a good idea to move your stop. But I mean, it paid off here, but it's not always going to pay off. So went for 2 points there. Could have got more. Could have gotten 9 points. But yeah, don't move your stop. I think I journaled that as a loss. Yeah, I journaled that as a loss, which is the right thing to do. And then I went long here because of this. I looked at it. Oh, maybe it's a first failed second entry. But look, it's just congestion. We're going. It's a roller coaster. You can clearly see the EMA looking like a roller coaster. So, yeah. And then I took this failure right here. Wish I just waited for the second entry long, but that's okay. That paid off, and I swung that, and I swung it pretty well. Just rode it up to here because it was close to my top of my trend channel. Let's take a look. Also could have gotten a few more points out of that. Yeah, a couple more points, no big deal though. So that's what I saw today. Those are the trades I took today. I hope everyone had a great day and a great week and a great holiday, and I'll be back next week.